Hello friends, welcome back to the Dork side. I'm the Dork in the road, and today it's my first ride on my new 2019 Honda CRF450L. I'm the Dork in the road, and I want to be your internet riding buddy, so please consider subscribing. So if you saw my new bike day video, you already know. If you didn't, go back and check it out. But I just picked up this 2019 Honda CRF450L with 600 miles. I had to go to Seattle to get it, about a 10-hour round trip, but totally worth it. And this thing is sweet, in excellent shape, and I'm so excited to get out and actually ride it off-road. I've done a little road riding on it. I put maybe 50 miles on it since I got it, but this will be my first time doing any real off-road on it. I've added a few things, but it's mostly stock. I had the Mad Dog seat cover because the seat on this is awful. That'll get me by till I can get a seat concepts. I added my buck and roll tank bag, and I added the zigzag handlebar bag from Giant Loop, and I put my double take mirrors on, but everything else is mostly stock. This bike has a caliper protector and a reservoir protector for the rear brake, and this that's the 12 O'Clock Labs tail tidy. Everything else is stock, even the stock tires, so this will be fun. But we're out here at Shotgun Creek, my old stomping grounds. I'm gonna ride down to the secret spot, I think, check it out first as a warm-up, and then maybe we'll hit a little single track and see how that goes. So let's put this 450L to the test and see if I love it as much as I think I'm going to. So this bike actually doesn't like to start cold. There's a little knob, which is weird for a fuel-injected bike, but there's a little knob you can pull out to help with cold starts. It just ups the idle, even though it's 75 degrees right now. Why don't you just reach underneath and... yeah, should be good. Yeah, it's just weird. It doesn't like to start. Even when it's hot outside, it likes to warm up a little. Must be that high performance-ness, I don't know, because I thought fuel-injected bikes weren't supposed to do that. Let's ride down and check out my secret camping spot, get a little bit of a warm-up on this before we start tackling any trails. I'll tell you about mods I have in mind and concerns I have to this point. I came out on the truck today because, yep, I can ride this out here, and yeah, I have ridden it 50 miles before, but I'd have to get gas. So I'd have to gas up before I left, gas up in Brownsville, ride up here, ride around, keep an eye on it because it only has a 2-gallon tank, and then get gas again in Brownsville on my way home. And that's annoying when I can just put it in the truck. It takes less time, and I can just concentrate on riding and not have to get here with a sore ass. So I like to truck my bikes once in a while. Front tires, or the stock tires strike already. Sliding all over the damn place. So the stock tires will go, obviously, and that'll happen soon. I'm gonna get D-Sports and put them on here. Been really happy with them on all the other bikes. And sadly, yes, the fact that I'm on this 450L means that unless I hate it for some reason, the DRZ is going to have to be sold because I just can't afford to have both bikes. And I can't afford to have the DRZ sitting in the garage not getting ridden. I just hate that. It's not fair to the bike. It's a waste of a good machine. I'd much rather see somebody else out there enjoying it than me collecting it for no reason. This thing is significantly more powerful and more speed than my DRZ for sure. You notice it right away. It's also taller. You notice that right away. The suspension's stiffer, and you know, it's just a different animal because this is a detuned dirt bike, and the DRZ is too, but it's a detuned dirt bike from 2000, you know, and this is a detuned modern dirt bike, and it's just not the same thing. I really don't like the stock tires. I did not like them on my 250L. It's the same tires as those IRC tires. I don't like them on this, so as soon as I can get the other tires on, these will go bye-bye. This is a bike that wants to run. It doesn't love the slow speed stuff as much, and that is a concern because I do like to do some of the slow speed stuff. And I told you in my new bike day video that my biggest concern was weight with this bike. That's not my concern anymore. Really for two reasons. One, it doesn't feel heavy. Loading and unloading this is significantly easier than the DRZ, even though it's only 30 pounds lighter. I don't even have to start the engine to get this in the truck. I can just push it up there. And the DRZ, I always had to use the engine and clutch it up there. My biggest concern is now the twitchy throttle and the flameout issues that everyone says are a big deal on this bike. And everyone also says get the Vortex ECU, that smooths it out. I'm actually thinking I would go with I think it's AIM, the AIM ECU from Takamoto, because I really trust those guys and they say it's awesome. If I do one, but I've also heard from owners that have stuck with the bike for a while that it eventually wears in, it isn't so jumpy, and or you get used to it. Just got to use the clutch more. So my 250L was super jumpy, twitchy like that too. And so I mostly just rode trails in second and used the clutch a lot. So I don't know, maybe that's something that'll work with this, maybe it isn't. I'm gonna ride it for a while before I do the major mods like that. because I'm going to do the ECU, I'm going to want to do an exhaust and stuff. And you switch out the exhaust, you can save 10, 15 pounds. So getting less weight would be nice. And I do kind of want to turn this into a light adventure bike. I want to put a bigger tank, and really, like I said, when I bought it, turn it into a BDR killer. I do still want it to be good for riding trails, and I think it will be. That's why I'm not going to go crazy. There's like a 5-gallon tank. I'm not going to go that far. I'll just run the 3-gallon and put a 1-gallon armadillo bag on the back if I need extra range. 3-gallon is enough to get through any section of the Washington BDR. The longest one's like 120 miles. That's enough range, I think. Depends on what kind of mileage you're getting. I'm getting around 40 to the gallon on this right now. And that's mostly on the road. I imagine it'll be better in the woods, because doing 75, there's a lot of wind resistance. It's a bike that likes to go fast, though. It feels fast. And the gear ratios are super close together. It doesn't seem to matter what gear you're in. You always have ample power to accelerate, which is why I think I can just ride trails in second. No problem. Oh, look at that. I never see people down here. Interesting. I wonder what they're doing. Hiking? Probably mushroom picking, I hope. It's not hunting season yet. So it needs a new seat. It needs a bigger tank. Maybe an ECU. I'm going to do a throttle tamer for sure. I've also read people say that throttle tamer helps with those twitchy issues a lot. And that's a cheap mod, so start with that. We're almost to the secret spot. We're going to come back up here and camp soon. This summer's been so funky because I just had a ton of stuff going on, and then now I'm moving. Like, I'm literally moving this week. It's Sunday, and we're moving all of our stuff on Tuesday and Wednesday. So I just snuck out today close to home because I could. This is the secret spot. It's really overgrown in the summer. You can see that's all the wood from last time Duck Fan and I were here on the Tenere. That has not changed at all. All right, let's go check out the view, and then maybe we'll come back and hit some single track and see how bad the infamous twitchiness is on a technical trail. It's got tons of torque. The thing is so powerful. It's got piss your pants power if you really give it a lot of throttle. I mean, wheeling and basically any gear is pretty easy. This gives you a lot of confidence because there's just so much power. It'll just go wherever you need it to. You just point it and go, and it'll climb a tree, man. Ooh, it will rip your damn arms off, though. She's a beast. Yeah, and it's gonna take some getting used to, for sure. It's definitely a different animal from what I am accustomed to. It's too much bike for these tires. I can't believe they ship it with them. Just asking for trouble, which is why I think sometimes people buy these things, and the reason you can find them with 600 or 500 or 300 miles, even a couple years later, is it's a lot of bike. And I think people see 450, they think I can ride a 450, and they don't know that it's a lot different than a 250 or a 400 even, because I certainly didn't, and they don't like it. See that with the big adventure bikes a lot too. People buy an adventure bike, and the first time they take it off-road, they get scared because it's really uncomfortable to take a big heavy bike off-road, especially if you have very little off-road riding experience. It's a little sketchy and intimidating. It's still sketchy and intimidating, and I have, some off-road riding experience at this point. Not a bad view out here, huh? Not a bad view. Always like to see this one. It is fire season, so there won't be any camping with campfires anytime soon. I might come back and camp at the secret spot just to camp, but I'll also be able to camp at my own property soon. Still can't have a fire. They have satellites. I can see that stuff from space. Yeah, she's definitely twitchy, fast. It wears you out in a way that no other bike that I've had does or has, at least so far. I'll go down here and turn around, because this is the end of the road, my friends. Yeah. See? Filmed several giant loop vids back here. It's going to take more clutch work. It's like they say about the 350s versus the 500s. It's a lot revier. This is pretty revy, which means more clutch and less just throttle work. So it's going to take some getting used to. Wears you out, man, even standing up. Other mods we're going to do to this thing. I'm going to do a rear rack for sure. Probably run my giant loop coyote bags on this for camping, and the Mojaves for day tripping and stuff. Put rim locks and heavy duty tubes and new tires in. Probably some disc guard protection. Oh, I might do the adventure spec mini fairing. get a little wind off and have a place to mount things. But in the interim, another thing I'm probably going to do is this guy Lex Fox 3D prints an accessory dashboard for this, and he's going to send me one, so I'll put that in. So I'll put a link to that for you on his channel. He created that himself. Let's go try the single track, see how we feel with Twitchy McGee here. All right, let's give it a shot. I'll try to use the clutch a lot. Ooh, it is so different up here in the summer versus when I come up in the spring or the winter. It's just so much greener and so much more underbrush. It's like a whole different world. It's kind of crazy how it looks. So what's up, guy? Riding some trails? Can a flame out? Well, they say it's a thing. People I trust say it's a thing. That's two. I may have to sit down to manage the clutch a little easier. Yeah, second is, or first is way too twitchy. Let's try second. Well, the mud's all dried up at least. Oh, okay, what were you saying? I hate these tires, dude. I don't even know what happened there. Some kind of loose in the middle, and next thing I knew, I was on the ground. Good footage. Okay, these tires gotta go. I must have hit that loose stuff. Funny, I don't even know. That was weird. Okay, did I get too much bike for myself? It's definitely possible. Definitely possible. I'm not too proud to admit that that is a possibility. All right, sweetheart. Oh. Yeah, she's not a DRZ. Yeah, this is actually much easier than other bikes I own to pick up. Maybe it's not a great trail bike for me. I don't know. Tires are part of it, but it is a twitchy power delivery. The throttle tamer will really help. So I'm looking forward to that mod. Yeah, the tip over sensor didn't. I guess I turned it off, so it doesn't matter. Flame out. All right, let's go. All right, that's better. Back in the saddle. You gotta use the clutch a lot on this thing, man. Clutch, clutch, clutch. Not a lot of room for error up here, you know? Not a lot of room. You don't want to go that way. That's all I'm saying. It's hundreds of feet straight down. I'll try starting second. What was that? Okay, down and back up, the spot where I got sideways on the trail that time with Nathan. That was fun. Yeah, a lot of clutch work in second. A whole different animal. Maybe we should go down to the flat. Let's do some of the two-track trails. Single track's fun, but get a better feel for it. On the easier stuff, flame out. That's 3. Gotta keep the revs up, man. I just can't handle it. Supposedly that gets better with time. We'll see. We'll see. Use the bank corners because there's just not enough traction with these tires. Ooh, too much brake, bro, too much brake. That's what happened. I hit those ruts and slid down and crashed before. I'm pretty sure that's what it was. Okay, let's try the next one. The next one's actually one of my favorites too. All the ones down here I like a lot. And away we go. Yeah, sliding around a lot. Not a lot of side hill traction with these tires, like at all. You know, that's not everything, but sure helps. The other thing is these trails are not directional, so you can't go too fast. You gotta stay where you can bail out if you need to, or stop. It always makes it fun in here. And to pick the best line, but also give yourself room to get over if you have to. There's always a puddle right there. It's the driest I've seen these in a long time. Well, I will say it's very easy to toss around on the trails, and I think with better tires, it's going to be kind of a monster as I learn how to control the throttle. But in terms of the weight and the suspension, it's very light. I mean, it definitely feels a little heavier than that 500. I mean, it is heavier. It's like 30 or 40 pounds heavier wet. You know, that one feels like a mountain bike. This feels like a heavy mountain bike, but definitely a noticeable difference from like the DRZ. Let's go back up that one. It's that trail I did with Nathan. I couldn't keep up with him on the 790. Nathan can ride, man. If it was not a weekend, I'd be less worried about other people, but it's Sunday, so people come here on the weekends in the summer. Although half of this place is shut down right now, so you know, that cuts down on the visitors, I'm assuming. But this side's good to go. They're logging on the other side. Decided to ride it for a while and see how I like it and see how it fits me, or if it ends up just being more than I want, which is definitely a possibility, and it's a possibility that I'm open to. I said that when I bought it, because I got such a good deal that, you know, if it's a bike I ride for a while, make some content on and move on from, that's okay. You know, and then people can get the opinion of someone that's owned it, not just someone who got to borrow a press bike for 20 minutes, or, you know, even me on my previous test ride video on the 450L, where I had it for like 40 minutes. You know, that's not going to be the same as owning and modding it and ultimately deciding how I feel about it. So, you know, and maybe I already had the perfect dual sport for me. I don't know. I mean, the only way to find out is to try other things. So, or maybe I should have gone with the KTM, but the deal on this one was fabulous. I feel good about it, and it's fun. It's great to be back in a Honda, which I enjoy. Tell you what, though, it is uncomfortable. I always thought the DRZ was uncomfortable, but this thing is stiff and bouncy, and it feels like it's going to pull your arms off. You're fighting it. It's a workout to ride, and that's a price you pay for more performance, I guess. But it's just a totally new experience for me. I've never felt like the DRZ was going to pull my arms off, but this thing feels like a speeder bike, man. And I've just been riding adventure bikes a lot lately, so I'm gonna get back. Gotta get my dual sport chops back, you know. But if you like to fishtail and throw your bike around, and, you know, you're not overly concerned with having full traction all the time, this is a great bike. It's a blast to spin around. Man, it is torquey, twitchy, powerful, unrestrained beast. Yeah, get it. So, you know, if you got questions about the 450L or thoughts, please feel free to leave them in the comments. I will tell you honestly, like, I'm going to be 100% honest with you right now. I'm not sure about this bike at this moment. It is, you know, yanking my arms off. It's hard to ride. It's stiff. It's more power than I've had. You know, right now I'm not sure. I'm just not sure. I definitely want to put the mods on that people do. Start with a throttle tamer, see how it does. A little bit better tires will make me feel better, more comfortable seat, and then if that doesn't make a big difference, maybe we try the AIM ECU or the Vortex and see if that makes it. Like, I like everything about it. I just want it to be a little more manageable is all. I want to keep the power, I just don't want it all at once, and that throttle tamer is supposed to make it easier to use more precise throttle. And, you know, if we could eliminate the flameouts that I'm seeing, that would be super helpful too. And that complaint about it being super choppy when you let off the throttle, those are not unfounded. It's very jumpy. Here, I'll show you in first gear. It's really jumpy when you throttle on and off. because this ECU, and it's like an emissions thing or something, but it cuts all fuel when you let the throttle off. And then the second you throttle back on, it waits a half second and then just dumps a whole bunch in. So your engine braking is super aggressive, and then when you throttle off, it's like lifting the front end up when you give it gas again. So that's interesting to manage. So I've heard that breaks in. I've heard the throttle tamer helps. We'll see. We'll try one thing at a time and see how we feel. But for now, and as always, I just want to say thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed this 450L ride. I did, and I'll catch you on the next one. And don't forget to be excellent to each other. Oh, thank you. Excellent!